Dear students, welcome to this digital lecture series. Today we are going to see the topic of length contraction in relativity. Now we have seen previously two types of transformations. One was the Galilean transformation and another was the Lorentz transformation. So first we will take the Galilean approach. Now suppose that there are two frames of references S and S dash. This is the S dash frame and this is the S frame, such that S dash is moving with a velocity v along the x axis and the frame S is at rest. Now by Galilean transformation, if there is any point having a certain coordinate, then we have seen that there are certain relations. So according to Galilean transformation, x dash is equal to x minus vt and the y and z coordinates, they remain same. Y dash is equal to y and z dash is equal to z. Now consider a rod which is placed at rest in the frame of reference S dash. And remember that the frame S dash is moving with a velocity v along the x-axis. Therefore, the rod which is at rest in the frame S dash is also moving with the same velocity v with respect to the frame S which was at rest. Now let L0 be the length of the rod in frame S dash where the rod is kept at rest. So therefore we get that L0 is equal to x2 dash minus x1 dash, where x2 dash and x1 dash, they are the end point coordinates on the frame S dash. So if you are taking into consideration the S dash frame, the end coordinates of this rod are x2 dash and x1 dash, and if you take the difference between them, you get the length L0 of the rod in the frame S dash. Now if you take into consideration the S frame, then the length, suppose the length of the rod is L. In that case, L is equal to x2 minus x1, where what are x2 and x1? They are the end point coordinates of the rod in the frame S. But we know, according to Galilean transformation, x dash is equal to x minus vt. If we apply the same logic, here, then we can write x2 dash is equal to x2 minus vt and x1 dash is equal to x1 minus vt. So put these values in the equation for L0. So we get L0 is equal to x2 dash minus x1 dash, that is equal to x2 minus vt minus x1 minus vt, and if we observe this carefully, this minus vt gets cancelled with this plus vt, minus minus plus, and so what is left? L0 is equal to x2 minus x1. But what was x2 minus x1? It was equal to L, that is the length of the rod in the frame S. So what have we obtained here? The length of the rod in the moving frame S dash, this L0, it is equal to the length of the rod in the stationary frame S, that is L. So the length of the rod, whether it is placed in a moving frame or whether it is placed in a stationary frame or a frame at rest, the length of the rod remains same. It remains constant. So In Galilean transformation, the length of the object is invariant. It remains constant in Galilean transformations. Now this is not the case in Lorentz transformation. According to Lorentz transformation, the length is not invariant, means it changes. Let us see it in this Lorentz-Fitzgerald contraction. Now according to Lorentz-Fitzgerald contraction, when a rod or an object moves with a certain relativistic speed or velocity, then its length gets contracted or decreased along the direction of motion. Now this particular phenomena is called the Lorentz-Fitzgerald contraction or simply Lorentz contraction. So what does it state? That if a rod is moving in a certain direction, then the dimensions of the rod in the direction parallel to the direction of motion, means along the direction of motion, that dimensions, that length will get decreased or contracted. Now what happens if you observe along the direction perpendicular to the direction of motion? Then according to them, there is no change in the length along the direction perpendicular to the direction of motion. So if a rod is moving along the x-axis, then its dimension or length will change along the x-axis. But in the perpendicular direction, that is y and the z directions, there will be no change in its length. Now to understand this, suppose we have to see some terminologies. The first is proper length. The length of an object in the frame of reference where it is at rest is called the proper length. Now whichever frame you are taking into consideration, if the rod is at rest in that frame, then the measured length of the rod in that frame, it will be called the proper length. In our previous example which we have seen, the rod was kept in the frame S dash and the frame S dash was moving, but the rod was at rest in the frame S dash. Therefore the length of the rod in the frame S dash, which we have taken L0, that is the proper length. Second is apparent length. The length of an object or the rod in this case, as measured in the frame which is in relative motion with the frame where the object is at rest, is called apparent length. So if one frame is at rest, another frame is moving, then in whichever frame the rod is at rest, that frame will give you the proper length, and the other frame that will give the apparent length, the length measured in other frame where the rod is not present, that gives you the apparent length. So consider this particular figure. This is a fixed frame. In our case this was S, and this is a moving frame S dash, and that frame S dash moves with a velocity v along the x-axis. And suppose that there is a rod which is placed along the x-axis parallel to the x-axis, and its proper length measured is L0. So L0 is equal to x2 dash minus x1 dash. The same figure, it can be redrawn. What I have done here, I have taken the two axes S and S dash. I have made their x-axis common, and there is a rod which is having coordinates x2 and x1 in frame S, x2 dash and x1 dash in the frame S dash, and this rod, it is at rest in the frame S dash. So its proper length will be x2 dash minus x1 dash, and its apparent length, it will be measured in this frame S. Why? Because the rod is at rest in the frame S dash. So apparent length as measured in the frame S will be x2 minus x1, and we have taken it to be L. Now consider two frames of references S and S dash. S dash is moving with a velocity v along x-axis, and the frame S is at rest. Now let a rod be at rest in the frame S dash. So if x dash, x1 dash and x2 dash are the coordinates of the end point of the rod in the frame S dash where it is at rest, then the length of the rod in the frame where it is at rest is called the proper length. Here the rod is at rest in frame S dash, and let the proper length be denoted by L0. So therefore the proper length of the rod L0 is x2 dash minus x1 dash. This is our equation 1. Now here I have mentioned that x1 dash and x2 dash are the coordinates which are observed for the end point of the rod, and they are observed simultaneously, means at the same time. Now let x1 and x2 be the coordinates of the end point of the rods and in the frame S, and these coordinates are also observed simultaneously at the same time t. So the apparent length of the rod which is observed in the frame S be L, then we get that the apparent length of the rod L is equal to x2 minus x1. This is our equation 2. Now just remember, the rod is at rest in the frame S dash. We have measured its length L0 is equal to x2 dash minus x1 dash in frame S dash, that is the proper length. The rod was not present in the frame S, and therefore the length measured for the rod in the frame S, it will be apparent length. Now by Lorentz transformation we can write x2 dash is equal to beta times x2 minus vt, x1 dash is equal to beta times x1 minus vt, where what was beta? It was this ratio 1 upon under root of 1 minus v square upon c square. Put these values in equation 1. So if you put it in the equation 1 and if you solve this, we will get this vt gets cancelled with this vt. We get L0 is equal to beta times x2 minus x1, or L0 is equal to beta times L. If you substitute the values of beta, we get L0 is equal to L divided by under root of 1 minus v square upon c square. This is our equation 3. If you observe this equation 3, we can write L is equal to L0 into under root of 1 minus v square upon c square, and if you observe this equation carefully, we reach to the conclusion that the apparent length measured EL, it is always less than the proper length L0. Thus the apparent length measured is always less than the proper length of the object. So what is our conclusion? Hence, when the rod or any object moves with a relativistic speed, then it gets contracted along the direction of its motion, that is parallel to the direction of motion. This phenomena is called the length contraction or Lorentz Fitzgerald contraction or simply Lorentz contraction. Now, according to this theory of relativity or Lorentz transformations, the length of the rod or any object is not absolute. Not absolute means it does not remain same. If that object or the rod moves with a relativistic speed, it depends upon the relative motion of an object with respect to an observer. It is never constant. If the object moves with a relativistic speed, its length does not remain same. It is maximum. The length of the rod or the object will be maximum when the object is in rest position in certain inertial frame. If an object is in rest position in certain inertial frame, then in that frame, the length of the object measured will have maximum value. But if you are measuring the length of an object from some different frame which is in relative motion, then that length is not same. It has decreased. It has contracted. So here are some examples. See, this is a rocket which is, suppose that it is moving. This rocket is at a speed, it is 0c, means it is at rest. So this is the length of that rocket. If it moves with a velocity 0.866 into c, relativistic speed, then you see that this pictorial representation shows that its length has decreased. If you increase the velocity 0.995 in times c, it has further decreased. If you further increase the velocity, then the length of that rocket has further decreased. So this is an example of length contraction, as an object moves with a velocity comparable to the speed of light. This is another example. Here we have a sphere at rest. Its velocity is 0. So sphere at rest is having certain dimensions along x-axis, and this is certain dimension along the y-axis. Now if the sphere moves with a certain velocity 0.3 c, then see that its length in the vertical direction has remained same, but along the horizontal direction, that is the x-axis, it has decreased. If you further observe this, at an increased speed of 0.6 c, its length has along the x-axis has decreased, along the vertical direction it is same. Now observe this figure more carefully. Along the x-axis, the length of this object has decreased, but this vertical perpendicular direction, the dimensions has remained same. So this is also seen from this particular figure. As the velocity increases, the dimension of the object along the direction of motion, in this case it is x-axis. So dimension of this object along the x-axis or parallel to the direction of motion, it has decreased. But if you observe this perpendicular direction, it is having same length. And what was the relation it has followed? This. From this relation you can see very clearly that if the velocity v increases, this factor in the square root, it becomes small. Therefore, this L goes on decreasing with the increase in velocity. And that is along the direction of motion. Now, if you plot a graph between the contracted length or length contraction or decrease in the length with the velocity in fraction of speed of light, means this 0.1 means 0.1 c, this is 0.2 c, this is 0.7 c. So if you plot a graph between the length of an object or contraction in the length of object with the velocity, then as the velocity increases, we see that according to this relation, L is equal to L0 under root of 1 minus v square divided by c square. According to this relation, the length of an object goes on decreasing. Now here it is 1.0, Means here the object is moving with a velocity v is equal to c. So if v is equal to c, then under root of 1, this term becomes v is equal to c. So this is equal to 1. So 1 minus 1, 0. In that case, the length of an object also becomes 0. So that is all about the Lorentz-Fitzgerald contraction, or simply the Lorentz contraction. Just remember this particular relation, L is equal to L0 under root of 1 minus v square upon c square. And what does this relation give? That if the speed of the object, this v is the speed of object, if it goes on increasing, then the length of an object along the direction of motion or parallel to the direction of motion, it goes on decreasing. The length remains constant in the direction perpendicular to the direction of motion, but along the direction of motion, the length decreases. So that is all about the length contraction. Have a nice day.